I believe we're going to go up the country a little bit right now.
If you're a person like me, somebody who wouldn't even be born until a few decades after Woodstock even happened, all this means for you is that a bunch of baby boomers are going to be reminiscing about how great it was back in the good old days when they were our age. It also means seeing a bunch of clips from the film Woodstock over and over again, everywhere you look. But really it doesn't mean anything for somebody in my generation. For somebody in my generation, the social movements of the 1960s have all been boiled down into a Halloween costume of a hippie that you can buy at Walmart. Revolution, man! One popular question being posited on many a news site is, can there ever be another Woodstock? Not to be a pessimist, but no fucking way! Not as long as things remain as they are currently. In case you didn't know, Woodstock was organized largely by word of mouth. There was no Facebook, no cell phones, no Twitter, and no internet. You'd think that today, with social networking tools, organizing something like Woodstock would be easy. Yeah, but nobody's capable of doing anything anymore. Adjusted for inflation, mean wages haven't increased since around the time of Woodstock. Also adjusted for inflation, the cost of living has tripled. That means average people need to work 3 times as hard just to maintain the same standard of living that an average person in the 1960s had to. But that's okay. Working hard is something we Americans are really good at. Hell, I've got 3 part-time jobs. Plus I make and sell t-shirts. And I'm a musician. I don't have time to organize my bedroom, let alone a rock concert. For example, recently, me and some of my friends organized a canoe trip, and we used Facebook to help organize it. Of the 300 people who were invited, only 3 of them came. A 4th person also came, but they didn't even have a Facebook account. 37 people said maybe, and 131 never even responded to the invitation. But wait, is that because people have to work all the time? Or is it because social networking tools on the internet are inherently antisocial? I have a theory that if Woodstock had been organized on Facebook instead of real people talking to other real people face to face, it never would have happened. Why? Because social networking isn't really social networking at all. It's just a surrogate for human interaction. Social networking websites work at best as a personality amplification tool. We all send out our Facebook updates and our Twitters and our YouTube videos out into the ether of the internet as if what we had to say mattered. But it's a very low threshold for actual interaction. You're not forming real bonds with people. You're not sharing real experiences. You don't owe anybody any of your time. You don't have any social obligations. We're all isolated into little tiny floating islands of personality. Islands of self-interested navel-gazing. Tweeting into the void as if somebody gave a damn. Ayn Rand and Ronald Reagan had wet dreams about exactly this sort of society. Welcome to the brave new world! Another reason that Woodstock was possible back in the 1960s was because it was an outgrowth of a popular social movement. It wasn't an anti-war movement, it was a social movement. There was the Vietnam War and the draft and the whole anti-war movement, but there was also the Black Panthers, Malcolm X, Native American sovereignty, the Back to Land movement, anarchists, communists, socialists, students for a democratic society, the Weather Underground. Lots of middle-class Americans who were coming of age and were supposed to be going out into the workforce as happy little wage slaves suddenly looked around them and realized that their entire society was a lie. And they all decided to say, fuck it, and walk away. Of course, they didn't have a good idea what they should actually be shooting for in place of this system, so they mostly hung around and did drugs. Regardless, the system was threatened at every corner. But just the same, there was social cohesion within this movement. In my generation, there is no social cohesion. How the fuck do you create a social movement of any kind without any social cohesion? The anti-war movement that grew so strong under the Bush administration just evaporated after Obama was elected. But the war isn't over! Social movements don't evaporate overnight with the election of a new leader. Social movements keep their eyes on the prize consistently until the goal is achieved. We don't have one of those right now. Who's engaging in civic activity, going to town hall meetings, and steering the course of national policy right now? Is it us, the progressives? The one who supposedly won landslide elections last November? No! It's the fucking right-wing crazy people! Old people who don't even have Facebook or Twitter. And they probably only recently got emails so they could forward around chain letters about how Obama is a secret socialist Muslim who wants to kill your grandmother with death panels. And to these right-wing crazy people, you're afraid of death panels? We've got them already! How about when a CEO and executive board looks at your insurance policy when you come down with some fatal illness and decide to kick you off of their plan because you've become too expensive to insure? Leaving you for dead. That sounds like a fucking death panel to me. Is Congress leading on progressive issues? No. Do you see any progressives raising a stink at town hall meetings? No. Do you think there might be a connection there? The Democrats didn't even shoot for single-payer healthcare because they're a bunch of compromising little chicken shits who are afraid of the right-wing attack machine. And what good is it doing them? Even though they're coalescing to the insurance industry and the pharmaceutical industry left and right on this issue, and they're putting forth a bill that's been compromised of all integrity, the right wing is still screaming that the sky is falling simply because we're trying to make it illegal for the insurance companies to fucking murder people. Yeah, murdering people. When companies refuse to pay your insurance claim because you actually need it, that's fucking murder. Murder. Furthermore, compromising on this issue is stupid from a strategic standpoint. The health insurance companies aren't stupid, they're playing both sides of the aisle, fomenting civil unrest with all these right-wing crazies, spreading lies and disinformation. And then they're going to the Democrats and saying, unless you give us A, B, and C in this bill, we're gonna fight this. Which is stupid because they're already fighting it. So then the Democrats are gonna put forward this watered down, corrupt bill that's totally worthless and everybody's gonna hate it except for the Blue Dog Democrats who'd vote for Ayn Rand if she ran with a D next to her name. And then the Democrats are gonna get voted out of office because everybody's gonna see that the Republicans were right for saying that the bill was gonna be a piece of shit, because then it turned out to be. And then the GOP will take back the Congress for another 8 years just to do exactly what the Democrats just did. So what are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna complain on the internet? Are you gonna leave a comment down here on this YouTube video as if I have decision-making power? Or are you gonna go out and do something about it? We need a left-wing attack machine to sick on these Democrats. Hey, you're just the person to do this in your town. First, be sure to spread this video far and wide. Show it to all your friends, and then show it to all your enemies. Organize a bunch of your friends in your area to actually be there at the next town hall meeting. Make sure to get the day off from work. Trust me, you will not regret it. Make a bunch of signs and shit with clever phrases about how these anti-reform people are crazy, and why the insurance companies are vile parasites that prey on the poor, the sick, and the elderly. And make sure to make a ton of racket, just like these borderline antisocial disorder, anti-reform dickbags have been. See if you can't get forcibly removed for screaming and yelling about how we need single-payer healthcare. Yeah, single-payer healthcare. Don't bother fighting for the public option, that's just gonna get compromised away. We need single-payer healthcare. If we fight for that, we might be lucky enough to get a public option. It's up to you, in your town, to build a community dedicated to social change, talking with real people face to face. Are you up to the task? Maybe Woodstock's still possible after all. I sell t-shirts, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I sell t-shirts, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I sell t-shirts, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I sell t-shirts, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I sell t-shirts, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I make t-shirts, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I sell t-shirts, do-do-do-do-do-do-do.